our way of thinking to the guided paper applications, and each of those sections is supposed to be approved by NDOW. We have a QA checklist that just asks the question, have the applications been approved? 3 of the 4 sections had been approved, and we went to press, printed, and mailed the guided applications. So there were 75 applications that were mailed to 50 guides, and every one of those applications had the wrong seasons information. It had a draft copy of the seasons. So to fix that in the short term, we called the guides, we emailed the guides, we did everything we could to get a hold of the guides and let them know, be aware of the error and get them corrected seasons. Our long-term solution, a subtle change to our checklist, a list that we go through with each draw, that we have a list of hundreds of things that we make sure has happened. Rather than asking, have the applications been approved, it's has each section been approved, yes or no? Hopefully that will prevent that from happening in the future. Resident land tags that were listed as 5232. Last year we had a problem with Silver State that caused this error to pop up, and we put programming into place to prevent it. And in doing that, we asked for specific hunt numbers would not, for example, the Dream Tag hunt or the Silver State hunt numbers would not affect the residency. Well, there's also bonus point codes. Anyway, it's a down in the weeds in the programming. We were not looking at it right when it came to the Dream Tags this year, and we allowed 4 tags to have the same problem. But we had added QA checks to our process, and it didn't catch it before none of them went out, but we caught it much earlier on. I reported a significantly larger number of tags went out last year with this problem. Hopefully, this is the last time you'll see this. We contacted the clients, we got the tags back, we reprinted them, and we corrected the programming. We had a client that got ready to apply, and he couldn't apply because we told him that he hadn't filed one of his harvest reports. And he called, and he said, oh yes, I did. I mailed them both in the same envelope. The operator looked and said, well, we've only got one. Well, as a result of that, we keep every envelope that we get throughout the year after we pull the mail out of it. And we had people go back and go through every envelope to find his envelope. And guess what we found in the envelope? A return card. So we treated him right and got him in. And as a result, I had my staff go through and tear every single envelope that we have open till it could be laid flat to convince me that there is nothing in any of the envelopes. And that is a policy now, that every envelope has to be ripped open and laid flat and then still stored to make sure that we can find the envelope and look at postmarks or whatnot. Every envelope has to be torn all the way open. There is no just opening the mail and looking at it anymore. It was a clerical error. I couldn't have done that in the days of all paper applications, but nowadays the mail is small enough that we can do that. He mailed it in. We treated him wrong. Yes, sir.
So I was successful in drawing a tag. I forgot, but one of the reasons I wanted to join this commission, but maybe get as lucky as Mr. Macbeth here, but can you do the return on the internet now? We can do that. So
the return on the harvest.
Yeah, the harvest report on the internet.
Yeah, yes, okay. Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Last time I hunted, you still had the old paper kind. So that's all I wanted to know. Thanks.
Okay, my follow-up to that, and maybe we'll get into it when we get to the going to the internet. Will we also be requiring return cards solely on the internet, or are we going to keep the paper return card process?
I'm going to jump in here and
You
save Bonnie on
jump in.
that. You know what? I don't think we ever thought of that. That's a really good question, and we need to address that.
Okay. We had a client that became a resident, and he moved his 9251 points to 9151. He did it in plenty of time for the draw. It was done. The fact that his points were there were verified. And when we ran the draw, his points were not transferred. All the documents were in place, the programming was in place. I am still looking at this. I can say that other transferred points did transfer correctly. He's the only one. I do not know. It's still under review. I'm still looking at this to understand as to how this could have happened. What we did as a result of that, because in the way the draw works and the programming works, we went back, we assigned him the next set of random draw numbers that would have come off the deck when we were allocating draw numbers during the draw to the correct number of draw numbers he should have had, and then we reevaluated him against those draw numbers to see if he would have been successful in the draw, and he was unsuccessful. But we treated him wrong, and there was no one else because of him. I looked at everybody that had points transferred, and they were good. But I have still not been. It's a programming bug, and I have not identified it at this time.
How did you discover this? I mean, the client wouldn't have known. It just seems funny that...
I think he looked at his points online and saw that they were not transferred. As I recall, I'm stretching here, but I'm pretty sure that he went online. You can review your bonus points online, same place you file your harvest report at, and he saw that he did not have the correct number of points for 9151, and he called us on it, and he was absolutely correct. Okay. If you, when I opened up the harvest reporting website, if you went to the harvest reporting tab, you would see a list of 5 return cards per screen. Before the release date for big game, if any of those first 5 were harvest reports that were necessary to be filed for your 2012 report, I removed them so you couldn't see them. It was before the release date. What this did, if you were successful for one tag in big game, you would see 4 reports listed on that tab. That the one that was missing was your successful 2012 big game application. No one in QA had ever caught this. No one had ever commented on this. And it's because the return card site was typically never opened up until after the 48-hour release. I got it open before the 48-hour release. We corrected that by listing all of the return cards on the first tab, so you could not see if there was a less than 5 on the first page. But it was just a hole that no one had never seen before. There were quite a few. It was well publicized. It was all over Monster Muleys. Greeted me when I came in the door to work that day, and took us several hours to figure out what was going on and get it patched. But it was a hole in our programming. And similar, as I said in the introduction to this, You could submit, if you had a turkey tag, it was time to submit the turkey report. If you submitted the turkey report, we updated your eligibility the next day, and it updated your points for all species. And so before the release date was over with, I was updating people's points for big game. Something we had never considered, and this is once again because the harvest reporting website was open before the 48-hour release. Had I kept that website shut down until the 48-hour release, no one would have ever, it would have never been an issue. No good deed goes unpunished.